We talked about turkey. What else? We talked about stuffing. Mashed potatoes. Hello. Mashed potatoes. So what is a big myth about mashed potatoes?
Well, actually, I would ask you, how do you like your potatoes, your mashed potatoes? Do you like them lumpy?
I like them lumpy.
Do you like them smashed? Or do you like them whipped? So you have 3 options.
I like them lumpy.
You do like them lumpy.
I think it's because that's the only way my mom used to make them. I'm in so much trouble at the end of this show.
Oh, I know. We're all going to be in trouble. Our mothers are going to be phoning us on our new phones. I think we all grew up with moms who maybe didn't have the strongest biceps. How that could be, I don't know. But they didn't mash their potatoes into absolute oblivion.
No, they didn't.
So they were often lumpy. And I love a smashed potato, which is just really rough and rustic.
I don't know the difference between a smashed and a whipped.
Well, there you go. A whipped is like this puree. It's creamy.
Okay.
It's like a cloud of mashed potatoes.
Oh.
It's heavenly. It's like when you go to a restaurant and you're like, how did they make these mashed potatoes so good?
Yeah, okay.
This is how you make those mashed potatoes that good.
It's almost like ice cream, it sounds like.
Exactly. Nothing against a smashed potato, and I don't want anybody to fear that I'm going to throw this at anyone.
Yeah.
Nothing against a smashed potato. But for a really beautiful, gorgeous, smooth, luxurious mashed potato,
yes,
you got to do a few things right from the get-go.
What do you do?
The first thing is you got to choose the right spud.
Oh,
so
okay.
like these are 3 ordinary potatoes. You know, and you're
let's
in the
show
our friend. And you know, you're in the grocery store. You're like, okay, potato, potato, potato. They're all the same.
Yeah.
Well, they're actually all very different. So Mr. Redskin potato is very waxy, very good for making a smashed potato, very good for a boiling potato.
It just sounds very violent. What are you doing with the smashed potato?
You just kind of whap it with the back of a spoon.
Okay.
When you're seriously in a hurry and you don't have time to mash, that's when you make smashed.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are good for smash.
Good for smash. But and then here you've got, this is a Yukon Gold.
Yes.
And that's a russet. Now also known as a Baker or an Idaho.
Yes.
It's got a lot of different names. These are both really good for mashing. And that's because they're going to, when they cook, they're really going to break down and they're not going to be all waxy. They're going to be starchy and really easy to whip up into puree.
Okay.
I prefer
What do you
Yukon.
want for whipped?
I prefer a Yukon because it's got a little bit more flavor.
All right.
And it's a lot more Canadian.
Okay, we like Canadian. Why not?
Thanksgiving, we're going to own it.
Absolutely.
And then the second thing to do is to consider the peeler, which is, you know, really an often overlooked gadget in the kitchen.
And so important.
It's so important.
Yeah, it's going to save you time if you get a good one.
The thing with the peeler, exactly, you got to get a good one, but don't. My advice is don't spend too much money.
Can I see this one?
Yeah,
that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, you know, it's all right.
It's obviously your favorite one. You've used it a few times, have you, Claire?
I have.
It's well used.
Well, it fits in my hand really nicely. But the thing to remember about peelers, it's the same with graters. That's actually a little tiny knife in there, and so it gets dull.
Right.
And if you ever find that you've come to the point where you're trying to peel your potatoes and you're like breaking a sweat, it's time for a new peeler.
Okay.
So this peeler, it should just slide nice and easy, and then the peel just comes off. And honestly, it's just. It sounds so silly, but get yourself a new peeler instead of getting yourself a pearl necklace.
Okay, get the peeler.
I know,
it's going to make it so much less labor intensive.
And it's only $6. Anyway, okay.
It's worth it. Okay, so you
started
your
with your right potatoes, and then you put them in a big pot of cold water, and you don't add them to boiling water because that can be dangerous. You plop a potato into boiling water, it splashes up. You're in the emergency room. It's not a happy Thanksgiving at all. So instead, you put them in a big pot of cold water, and you bring it up to a boil. Now, the other thing to talk about here is salt. Our friend salt, which has become a kind of a demon of the food world because everybody's watching their sodium now. But there's really a difference between sodium and salt. We don't have to get into that conversation.
No, but tell them, if you're cooking something from scratch, you've got to add salt.
You do, because it adds
it's not a
flavor.
packaged food here.
Whereas if you pick up a frozen pizza, it's got 200,000 milligrams of sodium per portion.
Right.
Exaggerations. Like, but your sodium is really coming from packaged food and fast food. And when you're putting salt in, you really need to, just exactly like you said, you've got to get salt in there for flavor. And with potatoes, you want to put salt in from the beginning so that every little cell of those potatoes absorbs a little bit of delicious salty water.
So you're saying you're putting it in the cold water with the
cold
potatoes.
water, and then you're bringing it up to a boil.
Fine.
Okay, so you're good.
We've done that.
We're good. We're in very good shape.
Yes.
The next thing is, this is the gadget that kind of changed my life last year, because I always used to mash potatoes with a fork or a masher. Yeah. And then I discovered the potato ricer.
Let's just get a nice shot of this.
Lovely potato ricer.
Okay, so how do we use it?
All right, so you just grab a potato. There should be a spoon.
I got one.
Somewhere. Okay, so you grab a potato. Now these are obviously drained. And then, with your very strong arms, squish it right into that bowl right there.
Okay.
And the miracle of potato ricing. Oh my gosh!
Ooh,
I
it's
love
like
that.
Parmesan.
It's like And that is where you're going to get the most amazing, luxurious, smooth
this
texture.
is good stuff.
And then you pop it up and you pop another one in. And if your potatoes are in halves like this, you can do it when they're still a little bit warm. And Bob is really, truly
This
your
is
uncle.
fun. I'll
Isn't
see you
that
in an
fun?
hour.
I
Bye.
know.
I'm going to do this.
And that's the other thing. And so instead of having to recruit the 13-year-old to come in and mash the potatoes for you.
You know what? You do have to be kind of strong, though.
And this is not an expensive gadget. I got the
Yeah.
nice one with the squishy handles.
Yeah, this is lovely.
But you know they're really easy to find, and they actually will make you want to make mashed potatoes a lot more often. Because
How
they
are we for
become-
time, JC? Because I'm losing my mind. Okay, 30 seconds.
Well, that's fine. So
I could do this for a long time.
And then the real $1,000,000 question with mashed potatoes is how much like heavy cream and butter do you have to put in?
How much?
Almost none. When you've done them with this ricer,
Yeah.
I just use homo milk. And they are luxurious and
go
rich.
for it.
And I won't put in the entire amount, but you see with the milk like that, this just whips into the most beautiful puree. And it's absolutely
that.
luxurious. Isn't that gorgeous?
Well, that was easy.
Now-
Way easier than you would think.
I really also recommend, if you're into it,
Oh my goodness, is this bacon?
yeah, and
How did you
onions.
bring this on my first day?
Well, you know, we want to
I
make
have
it
to
special
eat
for
it.
you. You can put in
Just a
some
little
fried
bit.
onions. You can put in some crispy bacon. You can put in some sour cream.
Would you put it in at this phase?
Yes, absolutely. Go for
my
it.
gosh, okay,
It's hard
why
not
not?
to nibble on. Oh, that's why we love you. But then you haven't had to add
There's like
cream.
no potato in there. Okay, listen,
You know,
very good job.
And
Thank
then
you.
got
Is the
perfect
recipe in
potatoes.
here?
The recipe's going to be online for you.